Norway sells oil to the world. Since 2020, it has lost 430 petrol stations. There were more than 4,000 in 1969, counting every brand. Norway never stopped producing oil. It stopped selling it at the roadside. So, how does an oil country lose its own pumps? This is not a shortage. Norway is Western Europe's largest oil and gas producer. The refineries run and the tankers sail. What has collapsed is the buying. In 1996, Norway sold 2,285 million liters of petrol. It has fallen almost every year since. The fuel never went away. The counter-selling it is what is going. 3 things emptied those forecourts, and none of them was a ban. A price, a place, and a promise. The third one is not what you think, and it is the one Norway is keeping. You can still stand on the slab where the pumps used to be. The canopy is often left standing, the paint still bright. So, at the end, the Almanac's verdict on whether Norway actually won this. I live here, and I don't think it's the answer you'd expect. Newland in Flekkefjord around 1940. The National Library catalogues this building as 2 things at once, a shop and a petrol station. Hold on to that, because it is the shape of everything that follows. In Norway, the pump and the shop grew up together, and what closes when a station closes was never just the fuel. Texaco, Caltex, Mobil. Through the 40s, 50s, and 60s, the oil companies put forecourts on the arterial roads, and the National Library's photographers kept filing them. By 1969, the first year the fuel trade counted its own network, Norway had 4,263 petrol stations, every brand included. The station had become an ordinary fact of the Norwegian roadside. The cars explained the speed. In 1950, Norway had 65,028 registered passenger cars. By 1960, 225,439. By 1969, 700,316, more than a tenfold rise in under 2 decades, and every one of them needed somewhere to fill up. Norway motorized late and fast, and the forecourts went up to meet it. Storgata, Oslo, 1949. The catalog entry for this photograph is a list: district, street life, traffic. The car had taken the Norwegian street, and everything built around it assumed one thing, that fuel was bought face-to-face at a counter from a person who worked there. Norway never argued with its drivers. It repriced them. By Bellona's own account in October 1993, the environmental group and 2 Norwegian musicians had their battery-converted Fiat Panda seized over 1,500 kroner in unpaid parking fines. The same year, the toll company Fjellinjen took Bellona to the conciliation board over 8,000 kroner in unpaid tolls. The protest worked. On the 13th of December 1996, the Storting voted to exempt electric cars from tolls, in force from the following year. That is the first thing, the price. Norway never banned the petrol car. It made the other car cheaper and kept it cheaper. In 2025, the Finance Ministry put the cost of the VAT exemption alone at about 17.5 billion kroner a year, a discount nobody ever had to apply for. But a discount explains why you buy the car. It does not explain why the pump disappears from your village. So what does? Here is the second, the place. The exemption stack was never experienced as a subsidy. It was 5 places where the rule changed on you. The toll gate, free from 1997. The parking bay, free from 1999. The counter where you pay for the car, VAT free from 2001. The bus lane, opened nationwide in 2005. The ferry ramp, free from 2009. Norway did not persuade anyone. It rewrote the rule at every choke point a driver physically passes through. What that bought is 1 line of arithmetic. Of the new passenger cars registered in Norway, 82.4% were electric in 2023, then 88.9% in 2024, then 95.9% in 2025. The policy hit its target. which is exactly why everything holding it up had to start coming down. Norway had trimmed the perks before. Sir Trøndelag started charging electric cars on its county ferries in June 2014. And from the summer of 2015, an electric car in an Oslo bus lane needed a passenger in the rush hour. But on the 1st of March 2018, the national ferry fare regulation itself turned. From that day, the price board at the ramp charged an electric car half the ordinary vehicle rate. The plan had worked exactly as designed. It did not happen in a budget, it happened at a ramp. The reason is arithmetic, and it was always going to arrive. An exemption is invisible while the exempt are few, and unpayable once they are the majority. Free passage for a handful of cars is a rounding error. Free passage for half the deck is the ferry's revenue. The same arithmetic stood queued behind every one of the 5 places. At the toll ring, it arrived with decimals. In 2024, 44 million of the 94 million passages through the Bergen toll ring were zero emission, just under half. A petrol or diesel car paid an average of 16.64 kroner per passage. A zero-emission car paid 6.13. Between 2018 and 2024, the discount left about 2 billion kroner uncollected. The gantry still counted every car. It had simply stopped collecting what the roads were costed on. Then the exemption stack reached the sticker price. From the 1st of January 2023, an electric car above 500,000 kroner would carry VAT, and a new weight tax arrived with it. In December 2022, Norwegians registered 39,497 new passenger cars, 82.8% of them zero emission. In January 2023, they registered 1,860, the lowest January since 1962. Same country, same cars, 1 month apart. On the 12th of January 2023, Havila Kystruten banned electric, hybrid, and hydrogen cars from its entire fleet on fire risk grounds. In a country where almost every new car sold is electric, nearly 5 years after the ferry ramp started charging them, a ramp stopped taking them at any price, and under all of it, the forecourt kept emptying. Petrol sold through Norwegian filling stations fell every single year. 876 million liters in 2021, then 832, then 809, then 753, then 717 in 2025. A forecourt is a fixed-cost building. The tanks, the canopy, and the inspections cost the same whether it sells 1 million liters or 100,000. Below some line, the arithmetic just stops. Think about that pairing again. A shop and a petrol station, 1 counter, 1 village. The pump was the reason to stop. The counter was the business, which is why these closures never quite read as fuel getting scarce. They read as a counter closing, 1 town at a time. The fuel is the last thing you lose. So the price is real, 17.5 billion kroner a year on VAT alone. The place is real, 5 choke points rewritten. Neither explains 2025 when Norwegians registered 179,550 new cars and 97.6% of Decembers were electric. A discount does not produce a December like that. A deadline does. That is the third thing, the promise. The exemptions were given endings published in advance. The ending is the instrument. How the promise gets kept is the last chapter. The loss is not evenly spread. In Hedmark, an inland county of forest and farm towns, the fuel trade's own organization counted 16 stations closed in the 10 years to 2014. For a while, automation softened closures like these. An unstaffed forecourt, card only, no counter, would take over, and a town at least kept its fuel. That substitution has stopped. Stations close, and nothing opens behind them. What goes with the pump is the counter. Coffee, a parcel shelf, somebody on duty. In the towns, little is lost. The charger is at home and the shop is next door. The loss concentrates where the network mattered most. The Defense Research Establishment has flagged fuel supply as a weak point in national preparedness and calculates that if the decline continues, drive time to the nearest station could rise by up to 50% in the least central municipalities. The promise is being kept as a staircase in public. Until the end of 2025, an electric car in Norway was VAT-free up to 500,000 kroner. From the 1st of January 2026, only up to 300,000. The Storting has asked the government to keep cutting the threshold after that, step by step towards nothing. Those later steps still need their own budgets. The discount was not abolished, it was given an ending with dates on it. December 2025 answered December 2022. In 1 month, Norwegians registered 35,188 new cars because a car delivered on the 31st of December was a different price from the same car delivered on the 1st of January. Nothing about that is uniquely Norwegian. People move before a price step. They always have. What Norway added was only this: everyone could see the step coming in print. One correction before the verdict, because the new car number is not the country. At the end of 2025, there were 945,182 electric passenger cars in Norway, 32.2% of the fleet, and for the first time more electric cars than petrol cars and more than diesel. Which still means this: roughly 2/3 of the cars in the country have a fuel tank. The network being dismantled is the one they fill up at. Something is being built in its place. A charging post by the fjord at Utne and hundreds more like it in car parks and by roadsides. All real, all growing. And none of it is a counter. A charger serves the car, not the village. Both readings are true at once. Which one wins is the verdict. Was it winning? I think it still is. The people who bought electric first got the most out of it. The free tolls, the free ferries, no VAT, and years of charging at home for a fraction of what petrol cost. They were laughed at for it. The range was a joke, people said, and petrol was the sensible choice. They were wrong, and the ones doing the laughing paid for the privilege. Range stopped being the argument the moment the chargers arrived. I have run a Mazda MX-30 since 2022 with 200 kilometers of range, and it gets used more than the long-range second car. Charging at home still beats the pump. The deal is thinner than it was for the people arriving now. It is still a deal, as long as the power stays cheap. So the whole thing rests on one number. What does electricity cost? Norway priced the petrol car off its own streets, and the streets are showing it before the budget does. Next on the cold north, the world's northernmost town spent a century burning coal it dug from the mountain beside it, and to stop, it had to start burning diesel shipped in by boat. That story is next. If this one earned it, the hype button and a subscription are how you tell the machine that the North is worth explaining properly. This channel is written in Norway. See you at the next verdict.